When I woke up, I saw a guy with the most beautiful green eyes staring right at me. Was I dreaming? He looked so majestic.
Hello, Buttface. Did you miss me?
Buttface? That's what Julian used to call me. Oh, you're here. Sorry, I got so tired that I fell asleep.
Seems like you were having a very interesting dream. Was it about me?
Yeah, I dreamed that I was punching your liver.
Still feisty as ever. Why are you in a maid's uniform? Where's your mom?
She had a small accident, so I'm replacing her. Temporarily. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot to do. Later that night, as I was serving their dinner, I noticed Julian's eyes following me everywhere. He even purposefully brushed his hand against mine. What was up with this jerk? And why had he turned out so fine? One night, I saw Mrs. Branson throwing out one of her branded bags in the trash just because it had a small stain. After making sure that everyone was asleep, I sneaked out and took it. But when I told Mom, she got so scared. What if she finds out that you stole it? You know that woman. She'll make our lives hell. Technically, I didn't steal it because she'd already thrown it out. If the bag was alive, I'm sure it would prefer to be in the hands of a cute owner instead of rotting in the garbage, right? I will never win against you. Exactly. The next day at school, we were in the middle of an exam when suddenly the girls started squealing. We all turned to the door to see Julian peeking with a smile. What was he doing here? Suddenly, he waved at me and blew me a kiss. My tummy did a weird flip. As soon as he left, Candace elbowed me in the ribs. My brother's just fooling around, so stop dreaming. You're not his type. Oh, trust me, he's not my type either. It didn't matter even if he was. I had to stay away from him because being involved with Julian meant trouble. One day, while he was working out in the living room, he suddenly called for me.
Do you think my muscles look hard enough, or should I work out more?
To be honest, they were a work of art, but there was no way I'd tell him that. I think you should get a life, sir. He just grinned at me and laid down on his back. He then asked me to hold down his feet and started doing crunches. I held my breath when I realized how close our lips were when he sat up. He was definitely doing this on purpose. Excuse me, but are you flirting with me?
Am I that obvious?
If you think you can add me to your list of girlfriends, you're mistaken.
You're really amusing. Too bad you lost those chubby cheeks. I can't call you Buttface anymore. Should I call you Sweetface now?
Wow, that is so cringy. What school did you go to? Wattpad High? He just chuckled and reached for my cheeks to pinch them.
You're so cute, especially when you blush.
It's a blush of hatred. Anyway, I still have a mountain of laundry to do, so bye. I left before things could get weirder. I did my best to avoid him at school, but he was always doing silly things to grab my attention. And one of my friends suddenly started pestering me. Hey girl, I saw that hottie from the other class flirting with you yesterday. Are you guys like a thing? Ew, yuck, no. I don't date players. Okay, that's amazing. Maybe I'll ask him out then. I suddenly found myself grabbing her by her hair. Don't even think about it. My friend was totally surprised by my behavior, and so was I. I realized that I was actually having a crush on Julian, but I would never admit it, ever. A week later, Mrs. Branson hosted a grand New Year's Eve party at the mansion, and I helped the kitchen staff serve the food. I couldn't help noticing Julian staring at me the whole evening. It made me feel excited for some reason. While I was washing the dishes, someone suddenly breathed down my neck.
Wanna get out of here?
Your mom's gonna kill me.
So you're scared? Where's that fearless little girl who used to kick my butt?
And I was sold. We sneaked out and slipped into a sports car. Where are we going?
Wherever fate is taking us.
I was so confused when he brought me to a grass field. Why are we here exactly?
You'll have to wait for it.
As we sat on the car's hood and waited for whatever it was, we started talking. Why do you like racing so much? It's too dangerous.
Racing makes me feel like I'm flying, like I'm alive and free. How about you? Do you still want to become a nurse?
Of course. Remember when you stole my stethoscope when we were kids?
It was just so cute how you ran around and listened to random people's heartbeats and tummies. Oh, look, there it is.
Suddenly, the night sky was filled with the most spectacular fireworks.
I remember you wanted to see those New Year's fireworks so badly once when we were kids, but you missed it because Candace and I locked you up in a bathroom.
Yep, you both are horrible creatures.
I'm sorry about that. I was a dumb kid.
I felt butterflies as we watched the fireworks in silence. I closed my eyes and just enjoyed the colors behind my eyes. When I opened them again, I saw him staring at me. He was leaning in closer when suddenly my phone started to ring. It was Mrs. Branson. "Your mom is calling. We need to go back. Can we make it in 10?
Try me.
He winked at me before stepping on the pedal, and the next thing I knew, I was screaming as he drove like a maniac. The party wasn't over yet when we got back home. As we sneaked in from the back, we suddenly saw Mrs. Branson walking towards us. Just then, Julian pushed me down to my knees.
Why can't you find it? Are you blind?
I immediately got what he meant, so I started crawling around pretending to find something.
Stellar, I've been looking for you. What are you doing here? I dropped my ring, Mom, and I'm asking her to look for it.
Mrs. Branson seemed to believe us. I was so relieved. But later that night, as I was clearing the mess, I almost fell back in fright to see her standing behind me.
Do you really think that I have no idea what you're up to?
I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am.
Stop with your acting, Stellar. And don't forget your place in this house. You're a maid, just like your mom, and that's all you'll ever be. Stay away from my son.
I'd already expected this to happen, and I started avoiding Julian as much as possible. I couldn't afford to get us thrown out while Mom was unwell, but it was hard, especially when I found out Julian had fallen really sick. After making sure that Mom was asleep, I sneaked into the mansion and into his room one night. He seemed to be having a really high fever, and he looked so vulnerable as he slept. I stayed by his side for hours, but just as I was about to leave, he suddenly pulled me down towards him and kissed me. I got lost for a few seconds, but then I quickly pulled away. That was a mistake. I shouldn't even be here.
It's not a mistake. I really like you, Stellar, and I hope you feel the same.